Hey guys, welcome to Series World. Today I'm going to explain an erotic thriller series called Dark Desire from 2022. Turn on subtitles and spoilers ahead. The 6th episode opens with someone recording a man citing a poem. It is then revealed that the person who is recording is none other than Lise. The scene changes to Alma, who is now at Lisa's house. Lise asks her whether the prosecution suspects Darío, and Alma replies that they are looking into him. Lise asks about the fact that the death was described as a suicide on the news. She asks Alma whether she is okay, and she replies that she's very confused and doesn't believe how this could be happening to her. Lise agrees that this is fierce, destructive, and passionate, just like Darío himself. Alma asks her whether Darío was always like this, and Lise confirms. Alma asks her whether she met Darío's parents. Lise explains that his parents always thought that she was just his teacher, but Lise doesn't understand why she is asking all of this. The scene changes to Zoe, who is asking Mao why he isn't answering her question, and Mao replies that he doesn't know how he can help her. Zoe then clearly tells him that she just wants to know whether Julieta committed suicide or not, and whether Darío killed her or not. Mao is confused as to why she's so invested in this matter. Mao finally admits that she was right about Julieta's fracture type, and she's shocked to hear this new information. Meanwhile, the forensic doctor is explaining to Eugenia and Inigo how accidents regarding falls have fractures in the femur and often telescopic ones. Most people fall feet first, by instinct, which results in this type of fracture. But Julieta doesn't have this type of fracture. This, combined with the fact that there was an antidepressant in her body, can conclude that Julieta was unconscious or partially unconscious during the fall. Inigo is now rethinking about his next course of action after knowing all of this information. The story comes back to Mao, who is asking Zoe to go out with him for lunch again. Zoe is hesitating, but Mao pushes her as it will also be a celebration for them because she cracked this case for them. Zoe doesn't seem to be comfortable having this conversation, so she tries to leave. Mao also proposes to her to get a job there and asks about her opinion. Zoe politely rejects his invitation for celebration, saying she has some family stuff to deal with now, and Mao understands. Zoe gets a call from Leonardo and leaves. Meanwhile, Lise is telling Alma that she never heard a thing about Darío having a brother. Lise asks Alma who told her about this. Alma replies that even though Darío's family is very mysterious and has a lot of secrets, some recent incidents indicate that he might have a brother. Alma tells her about the video footage where a lookalike of Darío can be seen. She then notices some poetry books of Lise and realizes where Darío gets his habit of reading poetry from. Lise hands her a book by Julio Cortázar, a poet Darío is obsessed with. Alma decides to take the book with her. The scene changes to Eugenia viewing the security footage with Jimenez. In the footage, they can see Alma struggling with Julieta on the elevator, and later giving her a card in the hallway. Alma is seen on the screen driving when she sees someone looking exactly like Darío passing the road. Alma honks the horn and calls Darío by his name multiple times but gets no response. She follows the man and enters the hotel where Darío and Julieta lived. The lookalike gets on the elevator, but Alma fails to get on. Later, the man texts someone and gets off the elevator. Alma starts following him too. She loses him when Inigo calls her from behind. He asks her what she is doing here and whether she's looking for Darío. Alma nods, but explains that she was a bit confused and maybe didn't see right. She then starts to leave. Meanwhile, Eugenia has reached Esteban's house. Esteban informs her that now is the time for his service to the church, but Eugenia tells him to manage today, as she needs to discuss with him why he was present at the hotel that night. Eugenia gives him two options. Either he will talk with her as a friend over some coffee, or she'll take him to the station. Esteban agrees to talk over some coffee. The scene changes to Alma, who is looking for Darío in the house. She finds Zoe, who informs her that she has kicked Darío out of the house. Zoe starts arguing with Alma as to how she can do this, even after he has destroyed their life, after what he has done to her and Zoe. Attraction is one thing, but Alma is letting him into the house where Zoe sleeps at night. Alma tells her that she will not have this conversation now and starts leaving, but Zoe has invited Alma's therapist and Leonardo to discuss it with her. The story comes back to Esteban, who's telling Eugenia that he was there at the hotel that night because earlier that day, somebody gave him an anonymous tip of Darío's location, so he went there to visit. Esteban realizes that the police are not taking this as a suicide anymore and asks Eugenia whether he's a suspect too. Esteban then starts asking her whether she remembers their criminology professor and starts discussing who would benefit from the death of Julieta, and what benefit Esteban could have by murdering Julieta. Eugenia explains that maybe he did it because of revenge or money. Esteban understands her point, but in that case, it would make more sense if he attacked the target directly and asks her why he would target Julieta. Eugenia replies that because he wanted to frame Darío, and Esteban agrees that it's a possibility. He then gets to the second reason, which is money, and asks how much money he would get by killing Julieta. He replies that he would gain zero amount of money from killing her, and starts discussing the reasons Darío would have to kill Julieta. Esteban tells her that money also can be a motive for Darío, as Julieta was the heir to Lescano. Eugenia tells him that it doesn't explain why he would kill her before the wedding. Esteban suggests that maybe they signed a prenup. He starts discussing another motive and tells Eugenia that Darío has been obsessed with Alma for years and they also met recently. Eugenia agrees and says that they also met the night of Julieta's death. Esteban concludes that it's a possibility and suggests that it was an unplanned killing and completely impulsive. Esteban's theory is that after being with Alma, Darío, high on dopamine, meets with Julieta and murders her by throwing her off the terrace. A scene is shown where Darío is struggling with Julieta and later throwing her partially unconscious body off the terrace. Eugenia agrees with Esteban that it's a possibility, but she adds another possibility, saying that there's someone else who has a strong motive for killing Julieta. The scene changes back to Zoe, who is telling Alma in front of everyone that it's official that Julieta's death was a homicide, and the prosecutor confirmed it. Zoe explains that based on the fractures in Julieta's body, it was concluded that she didn't jump off the roof. Instead, she was thrown. Her therapist tells her that they are just here to help her. Zoe gets frustrated as to how Alma can let a murderer in their house, and even worse, be close to him. All of them request Alma to let them help her, but Alma is adamant in her decision. She thinks that they are just trying to control how she lives her life. She asks them whether they are scared of her, and thinks that she's out of control. Her therapist reminds her that they have been over this situation many times before. Alma tells them thanks for wanting to help her, but she will decide what she wants to do with her life. She then makes them leave the house. The scene changes to Lise, who is pleasuring herself, watching the recorded video from earlier. Meanwhile, Alma is reading the poetry book she borrowed from Lise. Darío comes back to the house. Alma asks him where he has been. Darío explains to her that after she left, Zoe came to the house and threw all of his stuff away. Some guy took away his phone and wallet, but before he could come back, he saw Leonardo in front of the house, so he didn't enter the house anymore to not make everything worse. Darío then leaves to take a shower. The scene changes to Zoe, who has reached her and Karina's place. Karina is worried about her and starts asking her whether there's anything wrong with her. Zoe replies that she is done with everyone. At night, Alma is seen being intimate with Darío. Mentally, she seems to be in excruciating pain but lost to her desires. In the morning, she wakes up and jumps off the bed. Darío asks her whether there's anything wrong, and she tells him that they have to find who is pretending to be him quickly. The scene changes to Inigo, who hired an investigation team for Julieta's case. They are searching Darío and Julieta's room. Inigo informs the chief officer regarding the fact that she saw Alma trying to enter the room the night before, even though Darío was not present in the hotel. He thinks it's very suspicious. Right at that moment, an officer finds Julieta's phone, which the police have been searching in the room. Meanwhile, Alma is talking with someone on the phone, trying to gain information about Garcia because Garcia had Dario's mom's suitcase, which may contain important information for them. But she couldn't gain any information regarding Garcia. Darío asks her whether she's sure that she gave the suitcase to Garcia, and she confirms that she did when they were investigating Leslie Delgado's case. Darío is frustrated and asks whether Esteban has any involvement in all of this, and Alma doesn't think so, and tells him that that's the last thing they should worry about. The main task they should focus on now is finding out who is pretending to be Darío. Darío assures her that they will be fine. Suddenly, a phone starts ringing, and Alma asks Darío about the phone. He clears her confusion that it's his phone from the US. Darío then leaves the room to take the call, and it's revealed that the call is from Inigo. Alma is in the room thinking about the person that she saw on the road who looked exactly like Darío. Meanwhile, Esteban has gone to meet with the man to whom he gave the task of analyzing the capsule he found. The man gives him the result and tells him that it's estradiol, otherwise known as hormones for women. The man doesn't know what type of estrogen it is, but he can say that if the person is not a man on hormone therapy, then the person Esteban is looking for is a woman, most probably in her 40s. Meanwhile, Inigo has gone out of the hotel to meet with Darío. He meets someone looking like Darío and calls him, but the person doesn't respond. He then holds the man by his hands and asks whether he knows Dario or if he's related to Dario. The man tells him that he doesn't know Dario, and he got the wrong person. Inigo asks the man to just tell his name, but the man tells him that he got the wrong person and leaves. The scene changes to Eugenia, who is going through the possibility of Alma being the murderer. She also remembers finding Alma's perfume and underwear in Esteban's room. Meanwhile, Esteban is also going through the possibility of Alma being the murderer after listening to Eugenia. The episode ends with Esteban citing a verse from the Bible and thinking about how he saw Alma frightened and shocked that night at the hotel. To watch more explanations of these kinds of series, click on the videos on your screen. And don't forget to let me know how you feel about today's video in the comments down below. And at last, thanks for watching.